Welcome to another episode of No Easy Days. I am your gracious, humble, always keeping it with you, 100 host, Danny motherfucking B. Today I have here with me no one. It's just me. No guests today, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, you're stuck with just me. That's all right, though. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, even if it's just me. I do usually record with a guest. I have 9 episodes in the hopper. I released 2 episodes already. I think I have 8 episodes with guests on my laptop. I just never put them out because the timing felt kind of weird. It was strange times. I guess I should go into it. I got an hour to kill now, but I don't know. The timing of everything felt weird. I wasn't able to put out those weekly videos. And those weekly videos are supposed to promote the podcast. So I was like, I don't want to put something out that's not going to get any views. Because they were really good episodes. And they are good episodes. And I'm probably still going to put them out week by week. I might even put out 2 of these episodes. One with just me and one with the guests. And, in the meantime, try and schedule more and more people to fucking come and, be, a guest on the show. Because I know a lot of freaks and geeks and weirdos and powerful people and fucking people with good lives and people who, I find face down in a gutter somewhere. I know a lot of interesting people that I like to hear, their story and want you all to hear their story because everyone is so very in their own world these days. They don't have a clue of what's going on. And, I'd like to take your hand and bring you on this fucking adventure. Also, this is audio only. I will be doing video episodes. Here's the gain is really fucking high in this one. If your eardrums have been popping recently, it's because the gain's really high on this. Video episodes will be coming. The reason why this one is audio is I look like shit right now. I just look like absolute trash, and not even oh, my hair is bad because I wear a hat when I record these. No, it's not my hair is bad. It's not my, nails aren't painted the right way. Just, it's not good today. I'm wearing a fucking True Religion t-shirt right now. That's how bad it is, all right? I'm wearing a True Religion t-shirt. This brand's gotten bankrupt 3 times in the last 6 years, okay? The last time I heard this brand reference in pop culture, it was it was Doja Cat on that song Juicy, I keep it juicy, I eat that lunch, he like that booty buddy, he like it plump. And I think at some point in the song she's just they like to count how long before I put my True Religion denim on, something like that. So yeah, if your brand has gone bankrupt 4 or 5 times the last few years, and then Doja Cat's the only one rapping about you, singing about you, it's not a good sign. So I'm just looking terrible today. And I just had a rough fucking day. I had a early morning meeting. It was a breakfast with someone, but it was kind of a meeting. And I'm driving on the highway, and there's a truck. There's a semi truck to the front and right of me. So the lane right of me and in front of me. And I'm driving, and right as I go to change the song on my phone, one of the tires, I know I shouldn't be texting and driving. I'm not texting and driving. I'm fucking checking my phone and driving, or changing the song and driving. I should be using the steering wheel because I recently got a new car, and it's got the thing where you can change the song on the steering wheel. I should be fucking using that, but I didn't. But right as I was changing the song, one of the tires on this fucking truck explodes, and a piece of rubber gets jettisoned from the side of the truck into my lane. And then I just heard a pop, and I look up, and this giant piece of rubber, I hit it dead on and leaves a huge ass fucking skid mark on the hood of my car. And I literally went oh, fuck. Because when you're at this level, you need nerves of steel. You need nerves of steel when you're driving the highway and when you're going to a fucking meeting like this. You can't let it's the fucking, it's the line from Limitless. In this line of work, you get hit by a car and you get back up and go to work. It's that level. We're playing at that level, ladies and gentlemen. So, get to the meeting, and that's it's a great icebreaker. Like, hey, I almost just fucking, I hit someone on the highway. Yeah, how are you? Yeah, good. Yeah, it's fantastic. Ooh, how are you? No, great. Yeah, I heard your father's planning to overthrow a government in the Middle East. No, it's great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Your uncle's planning genocide in Africa. No, it's great. Fantastic. I'm kidding. I don't know people like that yet. I don't know people like that yet, but it won't hurt to know people like that when the end of civilization is coming. It's good to know someone who has like a pool in a gated community with sniper towers. That's where you want to be when it all collapses. You want to be in a gated community with sniper towers. Your cooks and cleaners are those new Tesla robots. You never have to, pay them. They never wonder where their families are. They make your breakfast. They clean your sheets. They incapacitate intruders. Anyone jumps over those gates, makes past snipers. They break into the house. They're just looking for food, something to feed their family. The robot grabs them by the neck and literally wrings their neck like a wet fucking towel. Maybe it'll keep them alive, and it'll show you hey, I caught this person breaking in, and it lets you decide whether you want to keep the person alive or have them thrown off the third floor. It'll be up to, if you're at that point where you have that much power and you live in a gated community surrounded by sniper towers and you have a robot butler doing all your work and someone breaks in trying to get food for your family and your robot catches them and you get to decide whether you want them to live or die. Just know there's going to be a lot of those kinds of people breaking your house. Might as well call the herd, so to say. That wasn't the only bad. I wanted to hit my fucking producer with a chair today, because the last episode of the the good, the bad, and the ugly, which go check it out. I think it's funny when I make them, and when I'm writing the script for those shows, I think it's hilarious. But then after the 10th time I listen to it, because I have to fucking review it, right? After the 10th time of listening to it, I'm like, is this even funny anymore? But my producer, he said that, I asked him, because there's a line in last week's show where basically I have these really expensive shoes on. I'm gonna shove up your ass and show your inside some style, which it is a reference, it is a joke from the Dave Chappelle show, and I do kind of pay homage to that in that episode. But yeah, I asked my producer, I'm like, hey, is the shot, is the angle of the camera, is the lens, is it gonna capture that? Is it gonna capture my shoes? Because that's kind of important. I go, these are expensive shoes. I'd like them to be in the shot so people actually know I'm not just wearing fucking, paper bags on my feet, that I'm actually wearing some expensive shoes. And he, without even checking, he's like, oh yeah, sure, they'll be in the frame. And then, he doesn't tell me until after the video is posted, oh, it looks like your shoes didn't get in the frame. And I'm like, should I deport you back to Hong Kong, Should I fucking call one of the 3 Chinese police stations, all of them here being in Toronto, and have, Xi Jinping come pick you up and throw you in a Uyghur concentration camp? Should I do that? And, he promised not to do it ever again, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm drinking, it's tequila, and I found this orange, I think it's tequila and low sugar orange Gatorade. I don't know, it's okay. I went to, last Christmas, I went to my buddy's house, and him and a bunch of other people were there just hanging out. And we're up to 4 or 5 in the morning drinking Prague or something like that. I don't know. It's Indian guys, Pakistani guys. They have this thing where they just take whatever brown liquor you can think of, whether it's scotch, whiskey, fucking, I don't know, rum, get a glass of water and then put a shot in there. So you're just drinking watered down whiskey. And I never had it before. I know what watered down booze is, but I never purposely drank watered down booze. You usually go to a club and they try to fuck you over by giving you watered down booze, but I never purposely drank watered down booze. And it's better than a lot of the drinks you get at the club. Honestly, just like get a fucking cup of water and put a shot of Jack Daniels in there, or Canadian Club, Crown Royal. I forget what we were drinking. We were drinking like a nice sort of whiskey. It wasn't Macallan's or anything, but it was a nicer sort of whiskey. And there's just like a shot in a glass of water, and it goes down smooth. And it's better than like a fucking, it's better than the whiskey sour they'll give you at fucking Toy Box or Rebel. For my London people, it's a lot better than the what gin and tonic you'll get at fucking Delilah's or Seeps. The bartender's like just barely 19. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. And she just presses like random buttons on the gun, gives you a little bit of alcohol, and goes like, "Here's your whiskey sour." It's like, bitch, are you serious right now? But you can't expect much from the club these days, or any days. And then the day progressively got this show is just gonna be me talking about like the shitty fucking day. It'll be me talking about the rest of my week and how shitty that was, but it's not horrible. It's not the worst thing to listen to. I went to the store because usually when I'm having a rough time, I like getting some sweet, and I go to the store, and I'm trying to get pecan tarts because I really fucking love pecan tarts. If I had to choose, this is what my father says. He's like, I'm okay dying. I'm okay with dying alone. And it's one of the, I guess it's life advice or something. I don't know. Thanks, Dad, I guess. He's like, I'm perfectly okay dying alone. I've sort of taken that, but I've added a little bit to it. I'll be perfectly okay dying alone as long as there's like the 6-pack of pecan tarts right there by my bedside. On my deathbed, just like, an hour before I die or half an hour before I die, let me have one of these pecan tarts. And I don't know, they're just really good. The fucking, the I don't even know what it is, the custard, but like, it's really good stuff. And I went to the store and they didn't have them at the Loblaws, so I had to go to the fucking Food Basics. And I was thinking at the Loblaws, if they don't have them at the Food Basics, I would chance like getting a 6-pack from China, like a 6-pack of pecan tarts from China, and even if like 4 of them were laced with fentanyl, I'd still go for it. I'd take my chances. 2 to 3 odds of dying. It's worth it if you're having like a fucking long ass day and you just want that little treat. Ray Mentals. I have stuff written down in front of me to talk about, and just like literally I've gone through like 2/3 of the list so far. 2/3 of the list is filled with fentanyl, which we're getting to the last 1/3. I was with a couple demons from hell, or financial consultants at Ray Mentals the other day. It's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little dive bar, but it feels a little bit classier than a dive bar. It's in like the Brooklyn-ish part in Toronto, and by like Brooklyn-ish I mean like everyone's looks like a hipster, and if you asked anyone how many genders there are, they would they would go in. If you asked how many genders there are someone around that area, they would go in and just give you like a fucking hour-long talk about the thousands, or at least the hundreds of genders there are out there, and how when they go to fill out a Facebook profile sheet and they click on which gender you are, and the 20 options they give you on that Facebook sheet is just not enough. It doesn't encompass all the genders. So I was at this place, and I came late. All I had was like a margarita, which like the waitress comes out, and I was just like I didn't care. I wasn't too choosy. I knew like we're gonna only be here for like 15 minutes. And she's like, "Hi, hello, we have $10 Mars today." She had to say that. She said Mars, like margaritas. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I'll take one. I never had a margarita before. I don't know. I just never did. But I'm guessing that a regular margarita doesn't need like the entire salt shaker of salt in it. Do you know what I mean? Like I never had a margarita before, but I'm guessing she didn't have to dump like half a fucking kilogram or at least 2 pounds of salt into that bitch. Okay, that because it was really fucking. I felt salty after. All right, I was salty at this, and but like I wasn't gonna yell at her because she was one of these people who sadly the pandemic like took her mind. The pandemic took her mind, as it took a lot of people's mind. It even took my mind a little bit. The one person, the one demon from hell that was with me that day, one of these financial consultant guys, love him, great guy, but he's a fucking. I asked him like, hey, did you like, how's the pandemic affected you? Like, it seems everyone's been broken a little bit. And he was invigorated by it. Like all of COVID, he was like, "Yeah, I can't believe that it's good. And we see now that even through a pandemic, our economy's fine." And like he was like, "Not pandemic did not affect me at all." Like just a true fucking sociopath, a true psycho, a true demon from hell. This guy is, and that's why I like them. I like sitting with these people because no matter what happens in the world, no matter what tragedy befalls the people around them, I don't know how good they would do with tragedy befalling themselves, but no matter what happens to the people around them, they'll be okay. They'll see the positivity in everything. So, the woman comes by to give us the bill, and and I'm making nice conversations with her, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we all recently graduated. We're in these fields and career paths and blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, that's great. I actually used to be this is the waitress talking to us. She's like, I used to be head of marketing at this company, but I quit my job and now I'm working here, and I'm also writing for comedians. Like I guess there's the comedy shops nearby, and she's just writing. Was she writing jokes or something? Is she writing for a TV show? I don't fucking know. I try to make a joke like, oh, I guess the goal for you is to write for Hacks or what's that show called? Ted Lasso. And she found that amusing. She's like, oh my god, don't flatter me so much. And I'm like, I'm a business guy. That's kind of my job. But she said that she used to make. She said she made more money working as a waitress. I'm guessing 4 or 5 nights a week at this place. And she makes more money doing this and writing jokes for people than she did as head of marketing at her last job. Which, I gotta be honest, I tipped her like $1.13, whatever the 10% was on the $10 drink, and my buddy, maybe she makes good tips, I don't know, but I don't think that she would make more money in those two positions than the head of marketing job, which leads me to question whether she had that marketing job in the first place. Because she was, she was probably like early 30s something, and sweet woman, but, probably very mentally ill at this point. Very mentally ill. Didn't look like she had a boyfriend in her life or a man. She's probably had to be alone for the last 2.5 years. Again, seems like the type that if her parents told her, hey, why don't you get a regular job, or why don't you find a nice boy, she would freak out and be like, I don't want to succumb to the patriarchy. You know what I mean? That's just that type of woman she was. And I was very nice to her. I thought she was, very, I ordered my drink, and then she brought out, the guy that was already there. I ordered something, and she brought out that guy's drink first. Like, hey, what am I, chopped liver? I know I came here a little bit late to the game, but like we were at the same time, brought out his drink first. Why couldn't you bring our drinks out at the same time? You have 2 hands, no? No? I gotta be more positive. The last episode I did, I felt like it was too crass. A little too crass, a little too vulgar in the last episode. But I got like some feedback from one of my friends. He said, I really liked the episode. I think the sort of character you do is the like psychotic, vulgar person who's a little self-deprecating is great. And hey, why don't you like and subscribe, okay? Do that. I appreciate the texts. I appreciate you texting me that you like the show. Right before I'm about to swallow an aspirin and cut open one of my veins, I read those texts and to, help me, not kill myself. But fucking like and subscribe in the episodes. I never ask people to like and subscribe in those episodes. All right? Because the 10 seconds it takes me to do that, it's 10 seconds that you're not getting entertainment. I'm trying to entertain y'all in an entertaining sort of fashion. I'm not going to be asking you to like and subscribe in every single video. You know, I might make a joke like, hey, I know I don't ask you guys to like and subscribe, but it would fucking help. My coaster is just like this gray fucking polo shirt here. I already spilled on it a couple times. I gotta fucking take that to the laundry. But yeah, so we left the restaurant, and Queen Street is just fucking like it's like the tourist area for people that actually live in Toronto. There's much better places to go and hang out that are just like, you know, a little more exclusive, a little more VIP. But you know, Queen Street, it's right there. It's right, like, you know, if you just don't want to, if you didn't make any plans, you can still have a really good time. I'm stretching the credulity of the word really, I guess, by saying that you can have an okay time on Queen Street. But the club scene, it's not where it's at. The place where you want to go is like, you know, the places there's got to be there's gonna be a new sort of it place, because Soho House is like, you know, like it's Soho House. Too many people know about it now. What the other place is called, like High Pillar or High Tower, something like that. It's also getting kind of lame. There's gotta be a new it place where like all the celebrities will go, and before the celebrities go there, like the, you know, rich, you know, finance people, but like, you know, the ones that are in their, like, they're not too old, they're in their mid-20s and their parents are rich. Like the money they're making right now, it doesn't have, like, it's not close to what they get in their allowance. Like their fucking, you know, their salary's good, their bonus is good, but the money they get from their parents is like, even like, that's it, you know, their salary's peanuts compared to their allowance. So that's what I'm hoping to find first. I'm hoping to find these places and you know, enamor myself with those kinds of people. Because like I said, I was not born. I was raised here in Burlington, small city, fucking great place to retire, great place to raise kids. You know, I think I will end up dying here one day, sadly. I was born in Slovakia, lived on a farm for a few years. You know, then my family was shipped here in a crate. We started lives here in Canada. And then, you know, if you know my background, if you know my history, my life is a mindfuck to most people. That's what I feel like. Because most people that are close enough to me, that really know me, they look at me and be like, you should be dead. You should be face down in the gutter, or at least in a rehab center. But the place where I am in life is not, it's neither of those places. It's a little bit better. It's not the best place to be, but it's, you know, it's in a place that most people wouldn't expect if they really truly know me. I'm going all over the place on this podcast. I hope you guys, if you guys were worried about like, oh, is this guy who, you know, screams about random shit on the internet, is this like gonna be worth it to listen to? Like just like another hour of my time. I made the joke in that first Good, Bad, Ugly episode. Like I'm just gonna, oh, actually no, I switched up the intro. I'll do it on the next episode. I'll add this intro in the next episode where, you know, I get rich by taking 10 minutes of your meaningless time and use it to sell it back to you for Pfizer ads, because I love Pfizer so much. Because if you know me really well, you know I love Moderna, you know I love Pfizer, you know I love GlaxoSmithKline, you know, all the pharmaceutical companies that just keep on us in a, you know, perpetual state of you know, anxious fucking just like a perpetual state of anxiety if you're hooked on the medications, or if you just, you know, watch the news. I know COVID's over, it's been over, but these motherfuckers out there are still being like, get your booster. You know, we haven't, I don't know why they have a southern accent, I'm gonna go with it. We haven't even tested this new one on people yet, but we know it's good. That's what I imagine the Pfizer. And I know who the fucking Pfizer CEO is. He's like some German guy. I don't know why I did the southern accent there, but fuck it. Fuck it, yeah. Nine! You must get your booster now! There, that's more like the Pfizer CEO. He was on the podcast with Lex Friedman. Lex Friedman had on the CEO of Pfizer, and one of my buddies, who's like he's like a physicist or something. You know, he's doing his master's in physics over at Queens. He's like, I rarely listen to podcasts, but I listen to that one. I just wish fucking Lex Friedman pushed a little harder. I'm like, yeah, I wish Lex Friedman fucking choked the guy out, the fucking demon from hell. I don't listen. I can't even blame him. I hang out with demons from hell a lot. It's just a fun fucking time. It's always a fun time. Today was sort of like, or this weekend was sort of a rest weekend for me, just because like the last few ones have been crazy. Even though I got like a lot of shit going on, I still like to have fun. I went to Western Hoko last weekend. That was fucking. It was just maddening. It's just it's an absolute madhouse. It's not. I think other schools, Hokos, are getting better. We still do some wild shit, but I mean, fucking McMaster, they like flipped the car last year. You know, Guelph, they fucking lit a couch on fire this year. We had that like trampoline going on and stuff, but I mean, like we need to like set our social science building on fire, you know? We need to like spray paint one of the residences purple, you know? We need to like, you know, grab Alan Shepard, you know, and throw him into the fucking Thames, off the bridge into the Thames. Hopefully he lives, but we need to do something like that. We need to do something fun, something that goes viral, something that's really Instagram worthy. You know, the Nelk boys, you know, all the universities they came to Western, they came to our FOCO because they knew it was fucking lit. And I feel like other schools are taking away from that. I do not want to see fucking McMaster overtake us in that fucking party scene. Okay? Even though it's sad to be like, oh, you drink, have fun. If you're going to be the school that's known for being fucked up in terms of like parties and fun, stay fucked up and stay having fun. Let the 30% of students who are there for an education get that education and be doctors and lawyers and nurses and businessmen and yada 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 yada. But let the other 70% of people just go fucking crazy and don't hold back. Jump off a roof, set a table on fire and jump into it. Fucking do some wild fucking shit. I should have done that, but I'm at a point in my life. See, I would have done that like 4 or 5 years ago when I was just got to school. But I'm at a point now where I got shit going for me, and I can't be fucking backflipping through someone's garage door. I just can't be doing that or anymore. I can't be getting blackout drunk in front of cops and trying to take the gun and be like, oh, what's going on here? Blow my own brains out. It's no good. If y'all are still, if anyone's still listening to this, you are a trooper. You should pat yourself on the back. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Doing this alone, I feel like just making it a half hour. Just making it a half hour at this point is a good time. It's an achievement on my part. I'm better at listening to people. That's why I do like to have the guests on. I like to listen to people, hear what they have to say. But doing this alone, I feel like a crazy person. Like I actually feel like an insane person. I would sometimes I do. Again, pandemic broke everyone's mind. I didn't used to have fugue states before the pandemic, but after I did have those fugue states where I go to sleep in my bed, and then I wake up in the middle of the night out in a field somewhere with a baby fox in one hand, and I'm holding a butter knife to its neck with the other hand, and then I gotta shake it off, and I gotta put the knife down and put the baby fox down and go back home, go back to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try and get guests on. Friends from college, people that I work with, maybe people from elementary school. I was like a troublemaker in elementary school, so I hung out with like a lot of other troublemaker types, I think like some of the people I know from elementary school, they're probably like in a field somewhere right now. They're just digging a shallow grave because they got drunk, and started driving their car, and they hit someone's dog. So they're out in a field somewhere just digging a shallow grave for this fucking dog they killed. High school friends, a little bit more, a little more tame, a little more put together. Friends from college, it's a mix of either or. I know friends. Oh, sorry, not friends from college. Friends from university, a little more tame, a little more put together. Some of them might be in that field, giving that guy from elementary school a hand, digging that shallow grave. Some of them might be tearing their hair out at like a desk job right now, wishing they could, go back for another 4 years of fucking craziness. It happens. Tequila and Gatorade on a Sunday night. This is it's a point of no return, you know. I've had a pretty bad, not pretty bad, but just like had anxiety last couple weeks where I could not go to sleep. And I do a lot of shit. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I work out and I start my day. I just do fucking a lot of different things. But I don't know, the last few weeks I've just been having really bad insomnia where I lay down at 8 o'clock and I don't go to sleep until like 11 and 12. And I don't know what the fuck goes on. I've been taking melatonin recently because at this point I'm like, I can't do it. I can't just roll around in my bed for 3 hours. The time goes by so fast but so slow at the same time. It's like, I don't know how people just like not get out of bed. And if you have depression, I get it, because that makes sense. But when I wake up, I get out of bed as fast as I can. This fucking morning, like I woke up, the other day I saw a video of Steve Harvey. He was giving one of his motivational speeches on Family Feud. He said some other guy who was more famous than him back in the day would call him every day, and he called him 32 times in a row in the morning at 6 o'clock. His like mentor in Hollywood would call him, "Hey Steve, good morning. Are you smiling yet?" And, like at 6 in the morning, this guy would call Steve Harvey and just be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? You ready to start the?" And so that this morning I woke up and I like tried to do that. I get up, I put on a big smile. I go, "I'm happy to be alive." And then, I drove and got hit by the fucking tire on the highway. And I get to the breakfast and I'm like, "I'm happy to be alive. Oh my God." And then now it's like, it's the end of the day and I'm like drinking this fucking tequila and Gatorade. And I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to let you think I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I'll say it tomorrow morning, because it's all about mentality these days. It's all about mentality. Because most people I know, they have everything they need to succeed, but they're fucking mongoloids, They just can't put their mind to it. But I still try and, see them, listen to them, talk to them, converse with them. One of the people I know that's doing better than most people, I had him on a podcast. I saw him yesterday. He went to the UK for a master's in pharmacy. And I guess here in Canada, it takes like 7 years, maybe even 8 years sometimes to become a pharmacist. There, it took 5. But he comes back, he's got like $150,000 worth of like student debt. And I'm like, God damn, that's fucked. Because like the idea of owning a house is kind of like not, like you're never gonna own a house these days unless fucking we build like 10 million more houses overnight over the next few years. It's just not gonna happen. So the idea of like a mortgage, you don't even worry about it. You're just gonna rent your whole life and you'll never be able to give anything to your kids, and you'll never, kids are never gonna be able to give anything to kids. Eventually everyone's just gonna like sleep on the street our fathers fought for back in the day. It's a quote by Ben Franklin. If we give control of inflation and deflation to investment bankers or just regular bankers, one day we'll wake up on the streets. We'll wake up homeless on the same land our fathers and forefathers fought for many generations ago. So that's what's gonna happen. So don't even worry about needing to pay for a mortgage. You're never gonna need one because you're never gonna have a house. But yeah, this guy's got like the $150,000 in student loan. I'm like, God damn! Like even as like a pharmacist, like that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. We did a great episode. That's probably gonna be the one I put out first because he even said like, oh, I really want to see that. The only problem I had is I couldn't get it onto my laptop because we literally did like 2.5 hours. I'm only gonna do another like 25 here. I'm gonna do another 25. Put it in fucking, put it out to get edited, and then just like release it like as is. Probably not gonna even have this thing edited. We'll see. I don't know. I was in Buffalo, New York, a couple weeks ago. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't even a couple weeks ago. It was like on Tuesday. I went to Buffalo, New York for some work shit. And I had to do like a presentation in front of all these engineers. And then after, I took a couple of the guys who helped set up the meeting. We took them to like a wing place. They wanted to go to the wing place. And it was like the restaurant in Buffalo that invented buffalo wings. And I have to say, like, this is going to be sad as fuck, but I'm a bit of a wing connoisseur, you know. Wings, calamari, what else? Just like fried chicken, fried food in general. I'm a connoisseur of the fried food. Calamari and fucking chicken specifically. These were like 10 out of 10, or at least as close to 10 out of 10 as you can get without going over. Just big ass wings, crispy outsides, juicy insides. One of my buddies, he doesn't like mixing his food with anything. Like he's one of the kind of guys where if the peas touch the mashed potatoes, it's like a weird autistic thing. I'm not sure. When he goes to the bar, he will only like the plain breaded chicken wings. So I gotta take him to this place because it is fucking incredible. And then one of the, came back. The border, they're no longer doing the fucking vaccine checks at the border, which, I know I was never for the vaccine checks to be able to like travel. I always thought that was, really fucked up. People close to me knew I thought that was really fucked up. So I'm glad those are finally going away. The only problem is that we've like given the most corrupt companies in the world billions of dollars for them to like go and do more corrupt shit with. And it looks like no one gives a shit. Everyone's just happy to go back to regular life, happy to go back to travel, happy to go back to letting the the elites plan their next move, because there's gonna be another COVID. It might be a climate lockdown. It might be some other shit, some other sort of lockdown, monkeypox. Who the fuck cares? The climate one is interesting because it used to be called like global cooling, like back in the 70s and 80s. It was called global cooling. They were worried the Earth was going into another ice age. And then they renamed it to like global warming. They started calling it global warming. I even remember when they were calling it global warming. And I guess like too many people who lived in like northern countries couldn't give a fuck. Like I always thought, even as a kid, like why would you like call it, like if you would want to scare people into doing something about pollution and stuff, don't, like Canadians most of all, don't tell us it's called global warming. We'll pollute more if it means that we get a shorter, not frigid winter. I live in like lower Ontario. It's not even that bad here, but it can get pretty bad. This is not even like the Maritimes or the prairies, in Alberta or something. That is fucked up. Across the board, we have like 5-6 months of winter. It's winter from late November all the way to like mid-April. It'll still snow some days. People got their parkas on. People got their Canada Goose jackets on from fucking late November all the way to April, sometimes even fucking May. There's always that nice time. There's like that 2 weeks right at the end of winter when it's like spring, and then it's like a fucking gotcha moment because it'll be like a week or two into May, and it'll like one or 2 days it'll snow. So calling it global warming did not make Canadians give a fuck. We'd be like, yes, we want it. We want that global warming. We don't want -40, around here. That's a little too fucking cold. I remember one time it was like freezing rain at the school. It was literally like the rain would fall down, it would hit the ground and freeze. So it was like a half inch of ice everywhere, and they had to close down the school because the fucking campus was frozen. I think the one girl in either Waterloo or University of Pittsburgh. Talk about a fucking talk about two different places. It was either Waterloo, University of Waterloo, or University of Pittsburgh. I forget where the story is from. But some girl was on her way to class and she slipped and banged her head off the ground. She slipped on the ice and banged her head off the ground and she died. Sweet little Asian girl just doing her normal thing, trying to go to class on time, and died. Dead. So they started calling it global warming, but I guess most people weren't moved by that. They were like, fuck it, we want the Earth to warm up anyway. And so now they're calling it climate change. It's just ambiguous enough. It's just ambiguous enough to like not know what it means, but it kind of sounds scary. Like the word terrorist. Like, we need a new enemy. Who are we gonna fight? Who do we gotta, pin blame on? We'll just pin blame on terrorists. We're not fighting. We're not directly fighting the Russians. We're not directly fighting the Chinese. Or for the last 20 years, we weren't. We were fighting the terrorists. And it's just an ambiguous enough term to get you kind of scared, kind of mad, but you don't know who to be scared or mad about. And it's easy to label anyone as a terrorist these days. I mean, look at what the fuck's going on in the South with their cousins. Parents are going to, school meetings, and they don't want the schools to be teaching gender theory to their 5-year-old kids. They want their kids to be being taught, math and English, arithmetic, and science. But these teachers are, touching, not touching. Maybe some of them are touching. Who the fuck knows? They're teaching their kids, their kids, hey, it's fine if you want to cut your dick off when you're 6 years old and, feed it to some. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but it's enough to where the parents are going into schools, okay? And then they're being put on this FBI watch list. They're being labeled as domestic terrorists because they're going into these PTA meetings and they're saying, we don't want you to teach our kids gender theory or, critical race theory or any of the stuff. Teach your kids regular stuff, because that is what's going on in the United States. They're trying to, indoctrinate the kids into believing a certain way, which you gotta, at some point, listen, if your theories... If you have to shove your theories down the throats of children, they're probably not good theories. That whatever virtuous stuff you're teaching in critical race theory class, if you can't get it across to a normal adult and have them consider those ideas as valid, it's probably not a good theory. And I got friends who are in law school, and I've slowly watched them become wokeified. And I don't hear it's not as big of an issue because, in Canada, everyone loves each other. We all love each other. It's all chill. We say sorry if we, two people bump into each other. They both say sorry to each other. It's very nice here. I do like it. I do prefer it to what fucking my cousins in New Jersey go through. Those fucking degenerates. I love those guys too, but you guys are fucking degenerates. Let's be real. But yeah, if your theory doesn't hold water with adults, it's probably not valid. And if the only way you can have it passed down is by shoving it down kids' throats, it's a little fucked up. And I really feel like I'm the only person talking about this in Canada. I'm sure there are others, but I guess here it's a lighter issue. It's more of a chill vibe here. We don't care. But then, I make these fucking videos and people watch them and they think, it's true. But we had that story. I should have just fucking filled this hour up with me talking about the other material from the show. That's what I should have done this episode. But you guys are getting a distilled version of me. Most people that have known me for more than like a week, at some point, if I meet someone new and they know me for more than a week, they ask a question like, what goes inside that head of yours, or they're like, I'd like to live in your head for like 5 minutes, like just to see what the fuck it's like. And the fucking Good, Bad, and Ugly shows, they're like distilled versions of my thought pattern, like what goes on in my head in a 7 minute span. I put out on YouTube, and I hope it slowly starts to infect the minds of viewers and listeners. I hope it just slowly starts to corrupt them and turn people into me. I always say that if I met someone that was exactly like me, I would have to kill them. Like I would have to murder my clone. Like if I met my clone in real life right away, I would have to kill them. And I'd have to do that because they would be thinking the exact same thing. A clone of me would try to kill me as soon as they saw me. So I have to kill them first. And it's just going to be a fucking like a mirror. It's gonna be like I throw a punch, he throws the exact same punch. We both hit each other in the hand. We both go ah. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be like a mirror fight. I don't know how long it's gonna last. It's gonna be until two people break us up, until one of us gets their hand on a gun or something. But it's gonna be tough. What the fuck was I even talking about before? Oh right, yeah. I just wanna corrupt enough people, make enough people like me. I always thought that if the world was filled with me, the world wouldn't last more than a few hours. If everyone was like me, like the society would fall apart within minutes. So since we're already on the trajectory of Western civilization falling apart, I want to push us further, faster down the road. I just want to get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off. I want to be a Marauder. I want to be a warlord in the end times. In the Book of Revelations, I would like to be a warlord. So I'm just going to push us further down that road. And, do whatever it takes to get us there. Almost done that drink. They say that if you are having issues with, like, insomnia and you're worried about getting hooked on the melatonin, just have, like, what was I going to say? Have a drink, have just like one little glass of wine, a little bit of brandy, maybe a whiskey, not whiskey and Coke has caffeine in it, but a little something just to ease the nerves, because that's what it is. Insomnia is like, you got nerves of steel all day long, but at some point, like, you gotta fucking release the tension. You gotta, you just gotta breathe. I forget to breathe sometimes, and it's an issue. In stressful times, you got to be able to breathe. It's the only way to get through the fucking situation. There's so many people these days that they just don't know how to breathe. I remember one time I was like getting on the train. I was getting on the train to go from like my house back to school, and the train pulls up, and there was this girl. I think she was a girl. She probably would have identified as non-binary. But I swear to God, she was about to get on the train, and her parents are there with her, and she looked like a little bit like goth. She had like short hair, mom jeans, all these weird bracelets on, glasses. Again, like if you asked her what are you, she'd probably say non-binary. Fucking words. Fuck. But she's about to get on the train, and then all of a sudden she turns around and like looks at her parents and starts making this crying noise, like ah, ah. It was even sadder than that. It was like like it was something like a child would say. And like this girl, there was no way she was younger than like 17, 18. She had purple hair, 17, 18. She was making the noise like a little 6-year-old would make when, on the first day of school, their parents are dropping off school. They're like, no, mama, dada, no. And it's like, there's not a lot of those people out there, but that's just because I don't think there's a lot of people like that out there. There could be more, because your environment is, what does it say? Like, you are the sum of the 5 closest people you know. Like, the 5 people I'm close with, they're all doing well. They're doing better than me. Most people think I'm doing well. The 5 people I'm close with are doing much better than me. So I think that's what my opinion is. Most people should be like those people. But if I went to like fucking some a center, if I went to some fucking psych ward and center and like saw more of the people that I just described with that story, I'm sure maybe I would think like, okay, how many people are there? And then I would talk to one of the doctors, be like, 40% of the population has some sort of general anxiety or whatever, and this is how they deal. This is what it is. Like, and I would believe that if someone told me like 40% of the people are like that girl at the train station, I'd believe it. I'd go, you know what? Maybe just like I surround myself, or my life has put me on a path where I don't get to see those kinds of people. But I don't see a lot of people who have AIDS. But if I went to Liberia, I would probably see some more people who have AIDS. That's just how it fucking goes. I've just been going from tangent to tangent to tangent. I've already finished my list of stuff that I want to talk about. I finished it within the first 25 minutes. These last 25 minutes are fucking just me going off the dome. The first 25 may have sounded like a little bit, not even scripted because they were terrible, but at least they had some fucking rhyme or reason. This is just me going off the fucking dome. At this point, I got a notification just now. I think I'm gonna punch my iPad in the face if I hear it beep one more time. There it goes again. I fucking heard it again. God damn it. It's fucking one of these group chats. One of these group chats with one of these demons from hell. They're probably messaging me how they're, excited about, they're going to overthrow a dictator in Uganda and steal all the gold they just found. That's what it's going to be, The Iranian Protest. So I don't know what the fucking deal is. I think it was a woman who was wearing a hijab was killed. Or I better Google this before I fucking let's start running my mouth. The worst thing is when someone starts running their mouth on something like they don't know what they're talking about. I don't want to become that person. I don't hate anyone besides the people who do that. So I'm gonna say Iranian protest. What is this shit about? Monday, September 21st, late 2020, Iranian protest. We want freedom. Demonstrators in Vancouver gathered for a second week in a row to protest Iranian regime. Other cities across Canada have demonstrated similar. Thousands of people lined up across Georgia and Vancouver, chanting the revolution chair for the people of Iran, calling for the Canadian government to offer Iranians more support. The demonstrators stood shoulder to shoulder and held hands to form a human chain that stretched from Vancouver Art Gallery to Stanley Park. Oh, Vancouver, watch it. They're standing on the side of the road. I hope they're all wearing closed-toed shoes because in Vancouver there's used heroin needles everywhere. So I'm hoping these protesters are, they got closed-toed shoes, or they might have a case of hepatitis. They might be protesting against hepatitis C in a couple days. Dozens of similar events kicked off same time Saturday. I know there's one in Richmond Hill. There's another big-ass protest in Richmond Hill. That was demonstration. So yeah, I thought this was it. So there's hijab laws in Iran, says it's inspiring to see massive turnout. Basically, women don't want to wear hijabs, or they do want to wear hijabs and they're not allowed to. Something like that. And this girl, Mahsa Amini, so I don't, either she was like beaten to death or something, but this lady, yeah, I think because they got a black and white photo, or a black and white photo of her on like a sign. Mahsa Amini, she was beaten to death because she wasn't wearing the hijab. Listen, protest whatever you want, but here's my opinion. Here's my piece on this. Be very wary of protesting for something that like the government is also agreeing with. Like if you're out there protesting for something and the government is backing you, your own government, it's not a real protest. Like protests are invented because the people, don't like something the government's doing. That's why I thought like the anti-mandate, anti-vaccine protests were legit, because these people were out there protesting against mandates, against, being forced to be vaccinated or else they would lose their jobs. And the government was not giving any of them coverage. The government was straight up calling them, Nazis and racists and misogynists and dumb people, which, let's be real, I'm sure there were some people at the trucker protests who held some, less, views that weren't good. I'm sure there were some racists, just a couple, maybe one or two. at the trucker protest. The rest of the people, lovely people. I would have gone if I had a place to stay. I wanted to go to that too and just take pictures and have fun. Because there was literally people like in hot tubs and bouncy castles. It looked kind of fun to go there. It just would have been a great time. But yeah, if you're protesting for something the government agrees with, it's not a real protest because you're the government's supporting what you're doing. You're supposed to be protesting against what the government is doing. So always be very cautious protesting on the side of what the government, especially the federal government, wants. And if I was like a conspiracy guy, or if I was like a fucking one of these globalists who run the world, the way I'd be thinking right now is, God damn it, people these days are really close to losing it. We like to maintain our power. We like to have as much resources as possible, but we also have to keep the people happy. And when gas prices are, whatever, $5, $6, $7 a gallon, they're gonna be going up to like $1.80 a liter here soon. We can't have that because eventually the people are gonna riot, people are gonna revolt. Crime is gonna get, there's gonna be too much crime for people to handle, and they're gonna come and they're gonna rip the rich people out of their houses and fucking string them up with their own intestines. That's just what it's gonna be. So if I'm one of these globalists, I'm going to look at countries that what was I going to say? I'm going to look at countries that have oil and say, well, if gas is really high, we just have to get more gas to drop the cost. It's called supply and demand right there. Business mind. So let's look at all the countries that have gas. Well, Russia's got gas, but, they also have nukes, and we also just cut off the Nord Stream pipeline that was bringing gas from Russia to the rest of the world, or at least to Europe. So Russia's not an option. Venezuela's got gas, sure, but, their country's kind of in turmoil right now. No one knows what the fuck's going on. And, we've tried to do some coups over in Venezuela, but they're a pretty resilient bunch over there. It's hard to get support from the, rest of the world to do a coup because, why... you need the whole world kind of in on the plan to overthrow another government. Otherwise, it's just not going to go well. You need more than one country in on a coup to do a coup. A coup d'etat is when you take a country's government and you overthrow it. Why would you do that? Well, the U.S. does it a lot. The United States does a lot when, another country has a lot of resources, but they're, the person in power isn't playing ball. They'll have the CIA go in there and fucking, bomb hospitals, destroy, train tracks, whatever. Like, just they'll go in there to fuck up the country to the point where the country, decides to overthrow their leader. Their people don't understand that it's the CIA going in there and fucking up the country. They think it's a bad dictator fucking fucking up the country. So the people will rise up, throw out the dictator, and then the CIA will put in a puppet dictator who's just as bad, if not worse, than the previous dictator. And that one will let, multinational corporations go in there and take the resources. This happened in BP in Iran in like 1954. This happened with most of South American countries with, United Fruit, the banana company. They basically brought bananas they grew bananas in South America, shipped them over to the United States. Eventually, they had a monopoly on it. They weren't paying the workers in South America any sort of money at all. They were paying them in coupons that the people could use in other stores that United Fruit owned that basically sell things. They weren't even paying them real money. They were paying monopoly dollars. And when the people tried to protest, United Fruit had the militaries of those countries kill the protesters. So if I'm a globalist and I'm trying to find oil and Russia's not an option and Venezuela's not an option, who else has got oil that we are not allies with? Well, Saudi Arabia's got oil, but we're allies with Saudi Arabia. Iraq's got oil, but we already took all the oil out of there. Sorry, Iraq doesn't have oil. We already took it. Oh, look at that. Hey, Iran's got oil. Iran has oil. And they got a lot of it. And you know what? Israel is not a big fan of Iran. I'd say actually Israel is like the least like they just hate Iran. So if the U.S. decides, hey, let's throw a coup in Iran, overthrow the government there, we got Israel on our side. Hey, look at all the protesters in Canada protesting against the regime in Iran. Canada's on our side. If Canada's on our side, that means it should be easy to get the UK, Australia, and India on our side. Those guys are all friends, right? So we got like 7 countries that are on board with this idea of overthrowing the Iranian government. But we need to convince people that this is a just thing to do. How do we convince people to overthrow the government there? Why don't we take this Misha girl? What's her name? What was her name again? I already forgot her name. What is her name? Mahsa. By the way, I'm going to put this out. People are going to hate me so much. I literally talked to one of my Persian friends today. I was like, because he went to the protest. I was like, how's the protest? He's like, it's good. And I'm like, okay, so now that I'm doing this, he's going to probably block me forever. But let's take this Mahsa girl and make her this martyr. And let's have all these people go, let's fucking back the coup and promote this coup or this regime change, as they like to call it. Let's have people get behind on this regime change and use this Mahsa girl as a martyr so we can overthrow the government in Iran, destroy, the supports for their government, and just go in there, take all of their natural resources, or just, install another even worse dictator. By then, all the people that were at the protests will forget about that they actually even cared about that. We'll go in there, steal all the oil, bring it back here, lower the gas prices here so the people here, don't revolt against us. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, there's a lot. There's more than one party interested in seeing Iran fall. And here's the thing, you can have a revolution, you can even have a peaceful revolution or quote unquote peaceful revolution. But what happens in a country in the next decade or two, it's usually not good. After a coup, after a government's overthrown, you've seen Afghanistan, you've seen Iraq, you're old enough to remember those. It was in those countries, it was hell for 20 years. And don't act like this hasn't happened before. This happened in Libya. Gaddafi, he was the dictator there for 40 years. For 40 years, he was the dictator of Libya. And then all of a sudden, one day, we were cool with Gaddafi for 40 years. And then just one day, it was like, oh, he's evil. Let's throw him out. Well, it turns out Gaddafi, right before they overthrew his government, he was going to start selling oil in euros or some other currency instead of dollars. And that would have weakened the dollar. So they went in and took him out. Same thing with Iraq. Right after 9/11, Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, but George Bush still called for, the invasion of Iraq. He did that because Saddam Hussein wanted to start selling oil in, again, some other currency. He was selling it in dollars before. He wanted to sell it in some other currency. This would have weakened the U.S. dollar. This would have caused some issues for the U.S., so they went in and took him out. This is what happens. It's always about the money. It's always about the oil. If you think you're protesting for a good cause, that's good, but you really got to be careful when you support a movement that's also being supported by the government, because oftentimes it does not go well. Take it from a person whose government's been corrupt for a while. I'm Eastern European. That's already a shady part of the world, but I'm also Slovakian, which is just we're known just to be the most fucking shady, corrupt people on planet Earth. I myself moved here when I was young enough, so I've been, whitewashed, I guess. I'm not like I could have got any whiter as it was, but I've been whitewashed by the society here, and I love people. I think they're great and amazing, but take it from someone who comes from a culture where everyone's just trying to get it, step on each other and fucking do whatever it takes to get that money. Be very, very careful siding with a movement that your government also supports, because oftentimes there's some artillery, fuck that word, artillery. I'm gonna keep trying. Artillery. It's phenomenon. Artillery. God damn. Ulterior? I'm not even trying to be funny right now. Ulterior, 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 ulterior motive. Oh my god. For any of you wondering, I do have the sunglasses on. The sunglasses you see in the videos, I have them. It's a video podcast. It's an audio only podcast. It's just me. I do have the fucking sunglasses on. I just need them right now. I can't look at the light. I can't see I don't want to look at any light. This has just been one shit show after another. Ulterior motive. I still fucked it up. It was one drink of tequila and it got me like this. Motherfucker. This may go down in history as like the worst podcast of all time, but I mean that in itself is an accomplishment. You know, who's the Jamaican bobsledding team who they came second last and all died? I don't know what the fuck happened. They didn't come last. They came second last in terms of time, but they like crashed and all died. Jamaican bobsled team. That they didn't win. No one remembers who won bobsledding that year in like whatever 2005, but everyone remembers that there was like a Jamaican bobsledding team that crashed and died. So take that to the bank. In hell. I love those people too. I love everyone. Great food. Fantastic food. All right, if that is everything, that's everything on my list. I finished off my list at this point, was it 40 minutes ago? And I just kind of went off the dome for the last 40 minutes. I'm going to have a guest on next week for sure, or at least put out one of the podcasts. I did have a guest on. This was supposed to come out today. Today is Sunday. I'm gonna put this out tomorrow. Tomorrow early as I can. Not that it's gonna matter. Not that people are gonna complain. Literally, I just started doing this YouTube shit. I may have shown up late. Maybe I should have started doing this shit when I was like 14, like Logan Paul. Maybe I'd be making millions of dollars and I'd be in the boxing ring. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't even want to be Logan Paul. I'd rather be fucking Andrew Tate. He's a little bit older, but he's got a lot more balls. He's got prettier women. He's got faster cars. I'm guessing. He may even have the same amount of clout at this point. And he's a little older. You know, it took him longer to get to where, you know, to get that level of clout. I'm going to take the best of both worlds. I'm going to take the, you know, longevity that Logan Paul has, and I'm going to take the sort of cutthroat, no fucking around lifestyle and sort of approach to existence Andrew Tate has, and I'm going to combine those two things together. All I need is a little bit of consistency. All I got to do is keep hanging out with these demons from hell, have, you know, thoughts and opinions that are my own, and just slowly corrupt the people that follow me, slowly corrupt them. I'm giving you like the keys to success right now. If you don't take the advice, you will be corrupted. I'm trying to give you success, but if you don't pay attention, if you're only here for the entertainment and you don't take what I say as gospel and go out and fucking do well and be successful, you will be corrupted and you will be in the gutter. Keep yourself out of the gutter. Take what I say, you know, not with a pinch of salt, but with a pinch of fucking Adderall. Go out there and do something good with your life. Go out, be successful. Remember to breathe. Breathe through those fucking tense situations. Don't be retarded. I'm in trouble for saying that. Fuck it. Don't be retarded. Go out there. Always have some fun. Do something good with your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is filled with terrible, evil, crazy fucking things, you know. There's producers that don't get the shot right on one of your videos, okay? There are waitresses who've lost their minds and put way too much salt in your fucking margarita. And you know what? There's pecan tarts. At the end of the day, if all else fails and you're destined to die alone, or at least if I'm destined to die alone, I'll have pecan tarts, alright? The world is filled with all these fucking crazy ass things, but that doesn't matter, alright? Because we stand together against all that bullshit. We all hold hands. We all fucking shout at the devil. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Because remember, there are no easy days.